Hello and welcome to Section 2 quiz in the PRINCE2 Agile Practitioner Certification Training. This section is about understanding the purpose and context for combining PRINCE2 and the Agile way of working. You can expect 3 questions in the exam from this section. By section, we mean the learning objective of the syllabus. We have 5 sections in this course, and in the syllabus learning objective, we have 5 of them again. Therefore, every learning objective in the exam syllabus maps to each one section in our courseware. Again, just like section number 1, where you do not have to refer to the scenario, section 2 questions also are not related to the scenario. Therefore, the first 3 questions and then again this next 3 questions in the exam are not related to the scenario and may be attempted without referring to the scenario. So let's go and try those 3 questions from the official exam paper. The sample paper from Axelos, that is. We did the first 3 questions for section 1. Now for section 2, let's try question number 4, 5, and 6. Question number 4 to begin with, which describes the PRINCE2 method of project management according to the 8 guidance points. A, it follows the traditional need for detailed design before development starts. B, it requires completion of work in a linear, sequential manner phase by phase. C, it recommends a flexible, delegated approach to project management. Or D, it works effectively with agile approaches when some of the areas of guidance are removed. You need to recollect the 8 guidance points of PRINCE2 Agile. Let's begin with option A. PRINCE2 should not be thought of as a traditional project management approach, being predominantly big design upfront. Therefore, option A would be incorrect. Though you could do a PRINCE2 project with a detailed design before the development starts, but PRINCE2 is quite flexible. And PRINCE2 Agile is the tailoring of PRINCE2 for an agile environment. Option B, requiring completion of work in a linear sequential manner phase by phase. Very similar to option A, therefore this is also incorrect because PRINCE2 should not be thought of as a traditional project management approach, which is waterfall. The waterfall method is linear and sequential with distinct goals for each phase of development, such as analysis, design, construction, or build, then test and release or implement. Option C, recommends a flexible delegated approach to project management. Seems to be correct because the traditional project management is predominantly bureaucratic and command and control, whereas PRINCE2 recommends flexible delegated approach to project management. And this is one of the 8 guidance points of PRINCE2 Agile. Option D is incorrect, meaning it says here it works effectively with agile approaches when some areas of guidance are removed. Well, the last portion of removing some of the guidance is incorrect. Therefore, D is incorrect. Because PRINCE2 is enabled to work with agile and nothing needs to be removed or significantly changed. While PRINCE2 itself can be tailored for an agile environment. So even if you look at the PRINCE2 guidance from Axelos, you will see some amount of tailoring information for agile environments. But PRINCE2 Agile guidance is much more detailed guidance for the same PRINCE2 in an agile environment. So it's a ready-made package for you on how to use PRINCE2 in an agile environment. Let's move on to the next question, which is question number 5. How might PRINCE2 organization gain by using PRINCE2 Agile? A, it benefits from understanding what Agile is and how it works. B, it benefits from the advantages of integrating Agile into their existing PRINCE2 practices. C, it benefits from adopting an industry standard approach to project management. Or D, it benefits from understanding PRINCE2 Agile and how to add it to their existing ways of working. The question is again about how can a Prince2 organization gain, or what can a Prince2 organization gain by using Prince2 Agile? So note that the organization is also using Prince2, already using Prince2, and now they want to use Prince2 Agile. Option A, benefits from understanding what Agile is and how it works, would be incorrect. There is a benefit, of course, to those Prince2 organizations who are going to use Agile. They do understand it, but not integrate it. Because Prince2 Agile is particularly about the project management in an Agile environment. They wouldn't have to use Prince2 Agile to understand what Agile is. Option B, benefits from advantages of integrating Agile into their existing Prince2 practices. Note that in the question, the organization is already Prince2 enabled. Therefore, Prince2 Agile will help them to integrate Agile into their existing Prince2 practices. Therefore, B would be correct. Therefore, what it means is a primary focus of Prince2 Agile is for those in the Prince2 community already who want to go Agile, meaning they wish to integrate Agile into their existing Prince2 working practices and benefit from this way of working. Option C, benefit from adopting an industry standard approach to project management. That would be incorrect. It is more a benefit to those who are already Agile and want to adopt Prince2. Option D, benefits from understanding Prince2 Agile and how to add it to their existing ways of working. This is also incorrect because if an organization is already mature in Agile, they might want to become familiar with Prince2 Agile to add it to their existing body of knowledge. So this is a somewhat tricky question, so be very careful with this one. Once again, if I read the question, how might a Prince2 organization gain by using Prince2 Agile? So an important point to note here is that the organization is already Prince2 enabled. Therefore, the answer would be, if they want to apply Agile way of working in their Prince2 environment, then they should use Prince2 Agile. Therefore, B would be the best. Let's look at the last question connected to section number 2. How does a delivery team blend and weave Prince2 with Agile ways of working? A, by self-organizing within authority limits set by the project manager. B, by using rich communication more effectively on team projects. C, by prioritizing requirements using Moscow. Or D, by using stages in place of time boxes in order to manage projects. The question is about how does a delivery team blend and weave Prince2 with Agile ways of working? Note that Agile happens more at the delivery level. So we may want to focus on how delivery teams function in a Prince2 Agile environment. Option A, therefore, by self-organizing seems to be very connected with the question. By self-organizing within authority limits set by the project manager, because we also see elements of project management in this option, and also the element of self-organization within the delivery team. That's how you could blend and weave Prince2 with Agile way of working. Therefore, A would be a good answer. But let's look at the other options before we finalize A as the correct answer. Option B, by using rich communication more effectively on team projects. In an Agile context, those who are in the directing and managing level of Prince2 need to adopt Agile disciplines and behaviors. Therefore, a team using Agile approaches should already be using this behavior. So B would be incorrect. C, by prioritizing requirements using Moscow. Again, this is incorrect because in the directing and managing levels in an agile context, they need to adopt agile disciplines and behaviors. A team using agile approaches should already be using these behaviors. And option D also incorrect, wherein by using stages in place of time boxes in order to manage projects would not be the correct answer. Because Prince2 Agile is designed to be combined with the typical agile behaviors such as time boxing. A team using agile approaches should already be using these behaviors. So if you look at the four options, while B, C, and D are definitely agile ways of working, meaning using rich communications, prioritizing requirements, and using stages in place of time boxes to manage projects. While D is totally incorrect because in Agile, we use time boxes. So a stage could be time box, a sprint could be a time box, a sprint within a stage, or a release within a stage also a time box. But in Prince2, we always use stages. And stage itself is a time box, or within stages, one or more releases could be time boxes, and within each release, one or more sprints could be time boxes. So the statement D is as such is incorrect. But option A, self-organizing, is one way, which is an agile way of working, which you could blend with the Prince2 way of working, that is limits set by the project manager to the delivery teams. And you might recollect that manage by exception, one of the principles in Prince2 and in Prince2 Agile is about setting tolerances, wherein the project manager defines work package tolerances for the team manager. Therefore, in option A, we are actually blending the Prince2 way of managing by exception with the agile way of working, meaning self-organizing within a delivery team. Therefore, A would be the correct answer. So we have seen that the section 2 questions are a little tricky. 4, 5, and 6 were a little more tricky. And that brings us to the end of the 3 questions on section number 2. Thank you for listening.